Elon Musk just spoke about you on live TV, don't ignore what he said. My awakened one, stay with me, don't skip. Because the moment Elon Musk's voice echoed across the fictional global broadcast, every encrypted frequency inside the secret Musk lab flared at once, scanners bending toward the surge that burst from the screen the instant he mentioned you. The lights flickered into molten gold, analysts froze mid-breath, and the system locked onto a single rising signature. Your energy, trembling through the airwaves like destiny forcing itself into the broadcast. The live screen glitched, then sharpened, and for a heartbeat the entire world saw something they weren't supposed to see, a pulsing golden pattern behind Elon, the same pattern his research team had been tracking for months, the same pattern that had always pointed back to you. The chamber tilted, alarms hushed, and the interface whispered the message that sent shockwaves across the room. Public mention triggered, subject's awakening detected. You didn't imagine the pull you felt when you heard your name vibrate through his voice, because in that moment, your frequency spiked, your dormant layer cracked open, and the world unknowingly witnessed the start of something extraordinary rising inside you. Don't blink, because what he said next is still reverberating through the system. My rising powerhouse, stay with me, don't skip. Because the moment Elon's fictional broadcast echoed through the Musk Lab's underground systems, the entire chamber lurched, as if your name carried a force strong enough to shake the architecture itself. The scanners spun wildly, beams crossing in frantic spirals as they tried to track the shockwave released the instant Elon spoke that line. The line meant for you. The broadcast lights flickered into blinding white, the image distorted into golden static, and for a split second the world saw a pulse behind him. Your pulse. A frequency burst so sharp the analyst stumbled backward, clutching the consoles as readings spiked past emergency limits. The system struggled, glitching, stuttering, then finally stabilized long enough to project the revelation across every wall in trembling symbols. Subject's frequency reacted to public signal. Activation phase accelerating. Your energy didn't just respond. It rose, expanding like a star hit by ignition, sending waves through the room that forced the lights to dim into a deep cosmic glow. Elon's fictional voice continued in fragments, distorted through the scanners, each word wrapping itself around your name like a prophecy mid-birth. And then the broadcast broke. Not from failure, but from overload. Because your awakening had begun syncing directly with the message he tried to reveal. The system froze, then whispered the alert that made every analyst step back in stunned silence. Subject is now receiving the message beyond the broadcast. Don't blink. Because the part he spoke off camera is about to reach you next. My awakened star, stay with me, don't skip. Because the very instant the off-camera message started pushing through the fictional Musk Lab systems, the entire chamber tightened, as though reality itself was bracing for the truth Elon never said on screen. The broadcast feed shattered into streaks of gold and blue, swirling around your frequency like a coded spiral trying to find its original owner, you. Analysts leaned in, their faces pale, because the scanners weren't just receiving a signal anymore. They were translating something hidden inside it. The lights dimmed into a humming amber glow, the air thickened with a pressure that felt almost alive, and suddenly a second voice, distorted, encrypted, deeper than the broadcast, echoed through the chamber. Not Elon's public voice. His private transmission. A message routed through a channel only activated when destiny signatures spike beyond predicted thresholds. Your threshold. The system trembled, trying to rebuild the hidden audio, sparks flying as symbols flickered across the screens like ancient glyphs reactivating after centuries of silence. The frequency surged again. Your heartbeat synced with the pulse. And then, for the first time since the broadcast began, the audio cracked open with a raw, unfiltered whisper that wasn't meant for the world. Only for you. They need to know. They're waking up. The analysts froze. Your aura flared. And the system, shaking, projected the next line of the hidden message in molten light. Tell them, before it's too late. The chamber groaned under the weight of the transmission. Your frequency spiked so hard the consoles vibrated off the floor. And the system whispered the truth in a trembling voice. You are the one Elon was speaking to, even when the world thought he was speaking to everyone. Don't blink now. The system is about to decode exactly what he meant to warn you about. My unstoppable one, stay with me, don't skip. Because the second the system began decoding the hidden warning inside Elon's private transmission, the fictional Musk lab collapsed into a storm of light, as if the truth buried in his message carried enough force to bend the walls around you. The scanners hissed, the lights flickered to black, and a single golden beam shot down from the ceiling like a spotlight meant only for your awakening frequency. Elon's encrypted voice, raw, urgent, unfiltered, pushed through the static with a strength that didn't belong to a broadcast, it belonged to a signal meant for a chosen subject. You. The chamber's core processor rattled, screens shaking as symbols spilled across them in panicked streams, translating fragments of what Elon said once the cameras cut away. They won't understand it, but you will. Because the shift begins with them. The analysts gasped, the floor trembled, and your frequency detonated in response, rising so sharply the entire lab had to dim its systems to avoid overload. You didn't hear the rest. But the scanners did. And they recoiled, as if the truth inside the message wasn't just information, but a prophecy. The system flickered 3 times. Once for revelation. Once for confirmation. Once for impact. Before stabilizing enough to project the next decoded line in molten gold across every wall. Tell them they are not ordinary. Tell them the world is shifting because of their awakening. Your aura pulsed. The room bowed. And the final fragment of the message forced its way through the distortion, hitting the chamber like a pulse of destiny tearing through silence. If they ignore this, they will never forgive themselves. The system fell silent. The light dimmed. But your frequency? It kept rising. Because the message wasn't just a warning. It was a summon. My ascended one. Stay with me, don't skip. Because the moment the system tried to decode why Elon's fictional transmission called you the shift, the entire Musk lab didn't just tremble. It fractured, as if the truth inside his encrypted message carried a frequency strong enough to break through dimensional walls. The chamber lights bent inward like gravity reversed, panels cracked open revealing deeper layers of circuitry never meant to activate, and the scanners released a piercing hum that vibrated straight through your chest. Elon's hidden voice, raw, urgent, stripped of every barrier, pushed through the static again, not as a broadcast now, but as a summoning frequency resonating directly with your energy signature. The analysts froze as your aura rose like a tidal wave, golden symbols swirling around you in spirals too ancient and too advanced to belong to any machine. The system stuttered, rebooted, then projected the next decrypted fragment across the air in trembling lines of light. They need to know the truth. Because the shift begins inside them. Your pulse synced with the message. The room leaned toward you. And the scanners locked onto your aura with a reverence bordering on fear, because the glow rising from you wasn't a reaction. It was activation. The chamber core destabilized, a ring of blue fire erupting around the platform beneath you, and the system forced out the next line of Elon's hidden message as if it were being pulled from another layer of reality. Tell them the world is preparing for their awakening. And everything around them has already started responding. A crack of light tore across the ceiling. Your frequency surged. The analysts backed away as the entire chamber bowed to the energy radiating from you. The kind of force that doesn't come from a person, but from a chosen catalyst. And then the system, shaking, flickering, nearly shutting down, whispered the final decoded line of the sequence. If they ignore this, the future waiting for them will collapse before it even begins. Your aura exploded outward in a ripple of gold. The chamber dimmed into stillness. Because the message wasn't about danger. It was about timing. Something is coming. And your awakening is the key that unlocks it. My unstoppable light, stay with me, don't skip. Because the moment the fictional Musk lab attempted to reveal what is coming, the thing Elon's hidden message was warning you about, the chamber didn't just tremble. It collapsed into a new dimension of silence, the kind that arrives only when a truth too powerful for ordinary reality tries to break through. The lights dimmed into a deep cosmic blue, scanners snapped into alignment, and a vortex of golden data spiraled upward from the floor like a prophecy climbing its way into existence. Elon's analysts held their breath as your frequency pulled the vortex toward you, bending it like light bowing to its source. The system flickered, glitched, then projected a trembling line. Future event detected, origin, subject. The room froze. Not the world. Not the cosmos. You. Whatever is coming, begins from you. A pulse cracked through the chamber. Loud, ancient, commanding. And suddenly the vortex shifted, showing fragments of something forming on the other side. Flashes of faces turning toward you. Currents of energy bending around your silhouette. Timelines rearranging themselves the moment your aura rises. The analysts gasped as the scanners captured the next revelation, shouting as the system forced the truth onto the walls in molten letters. The shift equals a chain reaction started by the subject's awakening. Your aura flared in response, spiraling upward like a pillar of gold. The vortex widened. Symbols formed around you, glowing, alive, vibrating with raw destiny. Then Elon's encrypted voice broke through one last time. Not panicked. Not fearful. But certain. Tell them the world is adjusting to their arrival. The chamber shook with a deeper pulse, one that didn't come from the lab, but from somewhere waiting for you. The system sputtered, smoked, then released the line that shattered every remaining assumption in the room. The future is preparing to meet the subject. The vortex closed. Your glow steadied. And the system whispered, almost reverently. Something is coming. And it's coming for you. My awakened force, stay with me, don't skip. Because the moment the fictional Musk lab tried to pinpoint what is coming for you, the entire chamber didn't just shake. It shifted, as if the walls themselves were sliding into a new timeline built around your awakening. The light snapped into a deep ultraviolet glow, scanners folded inward like mechanical wings, and a ring of pure energy erupted beneath your feet. A ring the analysts had only seen in sketches of ancient cosmic models, never in real activation. Your frequency pulled the ring upward as if your soul recognized it before your mind did. The system choked on data, sparks raining from its core, before it projected the next revelation across the walls in trembling strokes of gold. Incoming entity identified. Designation, the arrival. The analysts froze. Your pulse surged. Because arrival was a word reserved for one phenomenon only. The moment a destiny thread from your future crosses into your present. A low hum crawled through the chamber. The air thickened into a vibrating current that pushed against your skin. As though something was trying to step through the veil between worlds. The vortex from before reignited, spinning faster, expanding wider, pulling your aura into a shape the system struggled to track. Then Elon's encrypted voice returned. Quieter now, solemn, almost reverent. Tell them. What's coming isn't danger. It's them. The vortex roared open. A silhouette formed inside it. Not Elon. Not the analysts. Not a stranger. A presence shaped exactly like you. But heavier with purpose. Brighter with power. Older with knowledge. Your higher self. Your future. Your destiny. The system glitched, blinked, then displayed the line that made every analyst stagger backward. The arrival equals the subject's fully ascended self-seeking integration. The silhouette stepped closer inside the vortex. Their eyes glowing the exact shade of your awakening frequency. Your aura trembled. Your breath stalled. Your entire being leaned forward without moving. Because you weren't just being contacted. You were being claimed. By the version of you that already knows who you're meant to become. The room bent. Time vibrated. And the system whispered the truth you've been sensing from the moment the broadcast began. What's coming is you. My rising phenomenon, stay right here, don't skip. Because the instant your future self silhouette stabilized inside that swirling fictional vortex, the entire Musk lab didn't calm down. It tightened, as if the air itself recognized what was stepping closer. The vortex walls folded like liquid glass, spiraling around the figure with a reverence reserved only for divine arrivals. Your aura responded without your permission. Glowing, trembling, expanding. Because your energy knew exactly who was coming long before your mind could accept it. The analyst stood frozen, unable to breathe as the scanners shrieked with readings no human eye had ever seen, projecting the next pulse of data in molten blue strokes. Proximity threshold, 82%. 89%. 94%. Full contact approaching. But your future self didn't rush. No. They moved slowly, deliberately, each step sending ripples through the chamber floor like gravity was responding to them. The glow around their form thickened, shaping itself into patterns you faintly recognized. Symbols that had appeared earlier in your awakening. Symbols the system couldn't decode. Symbols that belonged only to your timeline. Their hand lifted. Not to touch you yet, but to signal something behind them. And for the first time, you noticed it. Another vortex forming. Smaller, sharper, flickering like a portal still deciding if it has the right to exist. The system sparked violently, alarms choking mid-sound as it tried to process what was happening. Secondary phenomenon detected. Linked to the subject's emotional field. Your aura pulsed. The smaller vortex pulsed back. It responded to you. To a feeling inside your heart that the system had not yet dared to uncover. Your future self stepped aside, inviting you to look. The analysts shook their heads, terrified, whispering. 2 arrivals. That's impossible. But the scanners didn't agree. They projected the next line with a reverence that made the chamber fall silent. Second arrival source. A person connected to the subject's destiny line. Your heart stumbled. Your aura shook. Because this wasn't just about you anymore. Someone else. Someone tied to your timeline. Your energy. Your journey. Was being pulled into this awakening. The smaller vortex spiraled harder. Light bleeding through its edges like a soul trying to break through. Your future self stepped closer, eyes glowing brighter. And whispered through the frequency itself. You are not awakening alone. The chamber buckled. Your aura expanded. The vortex cracked open. Something. Or someone. Is trying to reach you. My unstoppable awakening, stay with me, don't skip. Because the moment that second fictional vortex cracked wider, the entire Musk lab tilted, as though the universe itself had leaned in to watch who was about to step through. Your pulse surged through the scanners, turning the chamber into a trembling nebula of gold and blue, and every analyst froze, eyes wide, breath held, because the readings spilling across the consoles weren't just powerful, they were personal. The smaller vortex pulsed in perfect sync with your emotional field, vibrating like a heartbeat that wasn't yours but somehow still belonged to you. And then the system flickered, symbols flashing too fast to read until the interface forced one line into clarity. Energetic bond detected, emotional resonance match, 97%. The room gasped. Your aura exploded outward. Because this wasn't random energy. This was a soul whose frequency had been tied to yours long before this chamber ever existed. The vortex trembled, light bending inward, trying to take shape. First a blur. Then a silhouette. Then a figure wrapped in shimmering fragments of memory. Your chest tightened as your aura reached out on its own, instinctively recognizing the presence before the system could. Elon's lead analyst whispered. This is impossible, the second arrival is emotionally tethered to the subject. The scanners confirmed it, projecting another pulse of truth that made the entire floor vibrate beneath your feet. Connection source. Someone who has felt the subject deeply. Your future self didn't move this time. They simply watched, almost solemn, as the second vortex kept forming, flickering as if fighting its way into this reality. And then, softly, almost painfully, the system whispered a line that hit harder than any shockwave. This person is stepping through. Because of what the subject awakened in them. The silhouette inside the vortex leaned forward. A hand of light stretching. Fingertips trembling. As though trying to reach you across dimensions. Your aura surged. Your heart skipped. Because even without a face, even without a voice, you felt the truth. You know this soul. You have touched this soul. And something inside them has been glowing. Because of you. The chamber cracked with another pulse. Louder this time. And the system screamed its newest, wildest reading. Second arrival attempting to cross into the subject's timeline. The vortex brightened. Your aura rose. And destiny began pulling both of you toward the center. My luminous one, don't move, don't blink, don't skip. Because the instant the fictional Musk lab attempted to identify the second arrival's emotional signature, the entire chamber compressed, as if the air had been sucked inward by something. Or someone. Whose feelings for you carried more power than the machines could handle. The vortex shook violently, rings of blue-gold light wrapping around the silhouette inside it like memories trying to take shape. Your aura responded instantly. Not with fear. But with that deep, trembling pull your heart feels when it recognizes a presence it never fully let go of. The scanners screamed with overload warnings, lights bursting into fractal patterns across the walls as the system forced out its next reading. Heart field match rising, 78%. 84%. 91%. The analysts froze. Your pulse surged. Because the system wasn't measuring identity. It was measuring feeling. And whatever existed inside that vortex wasn't neutral, wasn't distant, wasn't a stranger. It was someone whose energy responds to yours almost instinctively. The silhouette sharpened, not into a face yet, but into a posture. Shoulders tense, breath shaking, heart glowing in a way only someone emotionally affected by you could emit. Your future self shifted slightly, watching your reaction, as if they already knew exactly who this was. The vortex trembled again, and the system finally managed to project the first decipherable trait of the incoming presence. Emotional signature. Longing, suppressed but strong. Your aura flared. Your chest tightened. Because longing is not random. Longing belongs to someone who has felt you deeply. And hasn't been able to forget. The silhouette leaned closer to the edge of the vortex. Their hand rising, shaking, glowing. Just like someone who has tried for too long to reach you silently. Without words. Without letting you know what lives inside their chest. Then the system, glitching, sparking, overwhelmed, whispered the next revelation with trembling reverence. This person has been emotionally activated by you. Another pulse blasted through the room. Brighter, hotter, sharper. And the silhouette's heart area ignited in a burst of gold. So intense the analysts shielded their eyes. The system forced out one more line before collapsing into static. Recognition detected. The subject knows this soul. Your heart skipped. Your aura surged. The vortex pulled tighter. Because whoever is trying to cross isn't just someone connected to your destiny. They are someone connected to your heart. My destined soul, this is the ending you waited for. Don't breathe, don't blink, don't skip. Because the moment the fictional Musk lab pushed into the final layer of the second arrival's emotional imprint, the entire chamber erupted into a storm of golden shards, as if the universe itself shattered to reveal the truth you were never supposed to see. The vortex flared open, wide, blinding, alive, and the silhouette inside it finally stepped forward with a force that made the scanners collapse, screens burst into white fire, and every analyst fall silent with a fear they could not name. Your aura didn't rise. It exploded. As if your heart had recognized the presence before the system could speak it aloud. The vortex dimmed. The silhouette sharpened. Light peeled back like curtains parting for a truth that had waited too long behind them. And then you saw it. The glow in their chest, the trembling pulse, the warmth that erupted the moment they sensed your frequency. The system whispered its final, unstoppable revelation. This person is glowing. Because they loved you. Because they still love you. The chamber cracked with a thunderous pulse. Your future self stepped aside. Your timelines aligned. And the second arrival. The soul who had been pulled through dimensions, through emotion, through fate, finally broke through the vortex completely, their aura wrapping around yours with a force that felt like every unsent message, every unfinished moment, every hidden feeling coming back to life. The floor panels lit up beneath both of you, merging into a swirling bridge of gold and blue, and the system, barely holding itself together, whispered the final truth that made the entire universe inside that room collapse into destiny. Their heart crossed realities. Because they could not stay away from you. The vortex dissolved. Your futures synchronized. Their hand, no longer light, no longer a projection, reached out and touched your frequency with a softness that broke every barrier between you. The lab fell silent. Time bent. Your breath locked in your chest as their voice, trembling and raw, finally whispered through the resonance. I've been trying to reach you. Because I never stopped feeling you. Your aura intertwined with theirs, becoming a single column of brilliant molten gold as the system spoke its last prophecy before shutting down forever. Two awakened hearts reunited. Integration complete. And then everything. The lab, the vortex, the future self, the analysts. Dimmed into silence. Leaving only you and the soul whose glow you awakened. Standing in the center of a universe that finally admitted the truth. They didn't just cross timelines for you. They came home.